You guys that you didn't this point a week ago?
Yeah, some things were revealed, mostly on the positive side, I would say, from the young guys. Their statistics, McCulloch didn't get a hit, but I thought he functioned very well in the batter's box and hit some balls hard and was playing team offense and looked in character defensively. And I think overall was very impressed with the freshman group. They looked very much in character, and there were spots of the older guys that, mostly defensively, that I was a little disappointed in. Patzlaff had a real rough game in the second game, and Cisnero let a couple things get away from him defensively the first game, and caught a good game in the last game. But anyway, on the mound, very impressed with the likes of Noah, Acuna, Nelson, and Jovan, as you addressed on the media deal.
Stringer or Cole, what did you think of his start?
Not surprised.
Yeah.
He looked the part. He filled the mound up, as I like to say, and looked very much like Cole Stringer, and an older version of Cole Stringer. And he's hard to hit. He's got wiggle and everything he throws. They had a radar gun on the scoreboard, and you're not like, ooh, this guy's.
Sure.
But the type of swings and approaches that I think Fresno State can really hit. They've got some older guys that take professional at bats. Coach Batesville does a tremendous job. If you make mistakes, they punish you, and he had them off balance. So I thought that was a real bright spot for us.
Did you need kind of a stopper performance at that point to get you guys on track?
We got killed in game one, I would say, and we're not worthy like they were against Peterson, a very difficult left-hander. They squared him up quite frequently, and we had Tyler Thomas on the ropes a couple times early, and that's what good pitchers like him do. They make pitches when they need to, and he did that.
Yeah.
The fist pump in the first inning, and then we didn't have many shots at him after that. And they did a nice job of scoring runs, so we were not in game one, and we gave them game two, 6 errors, and played really crummy baseball. And they probably gave us a little bit of game three with 20 or 18 walks. Yeah. And then game four was a real baseball game, and that's what it looks like. And we're going to play a lot of games like game four, I think.
So does that tell you that your team progressed through the weekend, that things sort of clicked over the course of things?
When you're 0-2 and you end up splitting against a good veteran team in a tough environment. Fresno's a tough place to win, although that was one of our huge building blocks in this program. When we first started in 10, we swept them 4 games there, and that could have been more tickled to death there because of the year before. The way we got up off the ground after a very difficult first 2 games and found a way to win 2, I am proud of it.
Any surprise with the back into the bullpen and freshmen coming out and just getting right after it and not having shown any signs, at least in the first couple games, of being freshmen?
Well, I'd like to tell you no. You kind of it's a guarded optimism when you think those guys will react the way you think they will. Right when we put Nelson in, their experienced coaches and players started rattling him, trying to rattle him, of course. And I think he went 2-0 in the first hitter, and then just shoved it, as we like to say. And a very emotional thing because the team, it was one of those games where you knew one pitch could determine win or lose, and they have very experienced hecklers in the stands, and they're good at getting the young guys' attentions too. And then the dugout participated. I thought Ryan Nelson stood up to that very, very well, and then Kenyon as well. So the guarded optimism was hoping that they wouldn't fold in that kind of situation, and they did. And Acuna was spectacular.
No surprise then on Acuna. You've seen that throughout camp and just early goings of the season?
Yeah, for the most part, he's been pretty consistent. He pitched twice over the weekend. The first one, he didn't have all 3 of his pitches, but still had some success. And then he was spectacular on Monday, so we're real happy for him.
High K per 9, is that what he's going to bring, a lot of strikeouts?
He throws around the corner a little bit, and the ball has some unusual run to it when it's up, and then when he nails it and gets tilt, it's very hard to not only see, but to square up. So I don't look at him as a strikeout guy, but with that kind of tilt and that kind of arm and looseness, And being the arm slot that he is, maybe he will be a guy that gets some strikeouts.
This weekend almost going to have kind of like a regional feel to it in terms of the format and not being sure who exactly you're going to see.
Yeah, you kind of match up your pitching, and it starts with a program I have great respect for, UCI, and Coach Gillespie and I go back to our junior college days, and has had great success both at USC at this level and UCI at this level. Ben Orloff, their associate head coach, is one of the smartest baseball players I've been around, and Coach Dietrich spent some time there coaching, and so that'll be a fun one going against them. And then we got to play Notre Dame last year in that one game, and I didn't think we played very well in that one. And my old colleague Dave Serrano's at Tennessee on the other side of the bracket. And we are familiar with San Diego State and USD, so. All of those types of teams are very worthy of regional play, so you better be ready, and you better be ready to play your best game. Unfortunately, we have to deal with some weather, I guess. They're even talking about moving the games around because of that. So we're familiar with working with the weather, or working around the weather, and we'll play when we're fortunate enough to play.
Yeah, so how does that affect the way you think about your pitchers in particular as you approach Friday and at least one Saturday?
We'll keep them all ready to go. We know we're going to throw Peterson in the first game against Irvine. And then after that, depending on when we play, there's no reason that we would have to hold somebody back as a short rest or anything of that nature. It might be, if we are going to play a doubleheader on Saturday, which looks like we may, you might try to match up Stringer versus Mercer against a left-hand hitting team or something like that. Sure. We haven't got enough time to look at the scouting reports in depth to decide how to match up, but we do know we're going to go Peterson.
Offensively, how'd you feel about how the team did on that first series?
Well, the numbers say, 211. We got to do better than that. That was the batting average. The fact that we scored 20 runs and they scored 20 runs and they hit 274 or something like that. I think we played offense pretty well, although even when we scored 13 runs, when you get 19 free bases, 18 walks, and a hit batter, you should score in the 20s, in my opinion. So we left a lot of guys on base, and you don't like that, but that could be when you're hitting good, too. It's just the cycle of baseball. Good teams don't leave a lot of guys on base, and they get that clutch two-out hit. So, Sky, the best way to tell you, I thought we were out of character the first two games, and I thought we settled down and looked good in the box the last two games.
You mentioned the fourth one was real baseball game, so I guess it feels good to feel the one that was the real baseball game out of them all. Yeah,
I mean, they came out of the gate guns blazing, and we thought the infielders were in danger of their lives. They were hitting the heck out of the ball. Steer squared a ball up, knock one down to save a run, and we were lucky to get out of the first four with 2 runs. And then our pitching got better, and we did better with that. And we had timely hitting. The 2-run inning that we had was a result of one of our guys striking out and the pass ball. And then Balta, like he does, he drove in 2 critical runs. And in the third, the winning run was an execution run where we bunted a guy over, and then our third hitter got a base hit. So that's kind of what we do up here, is execute, get guys in scoring position, and hope to get those clutch hits. And I what I really liked is the way Jovan, Matthews, even McCullough, who didn't get a lot of hits. Steer looked normal in the batter's box. Dyer came off the bench and took a real aggressive at-bat and then started the next day. And so I was most encouraged with how those guys looked. They didn't tiptoe into their first opportunities. They got after it, and that was really a good sign for me.
What are you going to do with Jovan as far as if he continues to do well closing the game and then also hits for average? How do you handle that? Have you ever had to deal with something like that before?
Yeah, we just talked about that today, and that was kind of, do we have to work good on the stall techniques, eye wash or shoe tying or different things to get a guy ready. And I've had two-way guys in the past. Probably the most famous was Kotze, who played center field and closed for us. And it gets a little tricky if he's going to be our closer, which he is temporarily until Warren gets in the mix. That's probably an easier venture. A guy could probably play first or third like Kenyon could, easier at the DH, and then still come in and close like Kotze did. If he ends up being in the mix as one of our starters, and that becomes a little trickier. Do you pitch him on Sunday or Friday, in a 3-game series? So he and Ryan Nelson, is shown to us that offensively they're in the mix. So both of them being two legitimate two-way guys is going to be a little bit of a coaching rotational challenge for us, and how to use them, when to use them, when to get them ready, basically, without hurting them. And they're used to it. I mean, they've played their whole lives like that. In fact, a lot of college players probably were two-way guys in high school. They didn't continue to do that in college.
Brad going to throw this weekend?
Yeah, we think so. He's going to throw today. We're going to do some simulated games with some of the guys that didn't get work today, and he's passed every test. I heard he threw an electric bullpen when we were playing in Fresno, so I think he's ready to go this weekend.
Thanks, George.
Thanks, guys.
Can I follow up a couple more things?
Sure.